The St. Louis Blues look to get a win against the Buffalo Sabres after a very disappointing loss to the Minnesota Wild. What do the Blues need to do to win tonight's contest? Well, I will let you know coming up on today's episode of Locked on Blues.
You're Locked on Blues, your daily podcast on the St. Louis Blues. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome back to Locked on Blues. I am your host of Locked on Blues, Haley Taylor Simon, talking to you all things about our St. Louis Blues. Here, a part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day. The St. Louis Blues, they host the Buffalo Sabres in tonight's contest, as I was saying. And there's a lot that we need to discuss before puck drop takes place at Enterprise. But most importantly, the Blues' loss against the Minnesota Wild was very disappointing. I know that for me, that was one of the more tougher losses of the season. I'm not going to say that was the worst loss, but definitely one of the tougher ones due to the fact that I did believe that the Blues were the better team heading into that contest. They had the better lines, and I just did not expect the Blues to fall apart the way that they did. Unfortunately, though, that is hockey. You're not going to always get the outcome that you desire or that you think your team desires, because any given thing can happen in any given game. And that's why this game of hockey, at least in my little humble opinion, it's always entertaining. So I know today's pregame show is a little bit earlier, but that is because all the things that I need to talk about already came out. And one of them is the projected lineups for our St. Louis Blues. So some things got moved around just a little bit. And by a little bit, I mean one big move that I think you're going to be noticing in just a second. For forwards tonight, we have a Robert Thomas line centered by Pavel Buchnevich and Jake Neighbors. Braden Shen, winged by Kevin Hayes and Jordan Kyrou. Whoa, Haley. Whoa, Kevin Hayes. Yes, that is right. Hazy will be winging in the second line to Schenner, and I think this was a really interesting one. Probably the most noticeable change I noticed right away, just due to the fact that Hayes has been, that third line, centering that third line. And clearly, Berube is seeing something in Hayes that makes him believe that he should be in the second line, but winging it. And, when he spent his time in Philadelphia and New York, he didn't always play center, okay? He has played in that position before, so it's not that uncommon for Kevin Hayes to be a winger, but I just thought that was interesting. Then we have in the third line, we have Oscar Sundqvist, and then he is being winged by Braden Saad and Kasperi Kapanen. This I like. I love Sonny, so I'm happy that he gets moved up to the third line. All along for, I guess, this whole season, I said that Sonny should be the center for the third line. I just think that he is a good player with a lot to prove. And look who's back in the lineup. It is Nikita Alexandrov, and he is winged by Alexei Turchenko and Sammy Blais. I like this one quite a bit. Give the younger guys a chance. Oh, there's co-host. Hi. Co-host was like, I need to talk some St. Louis Blues hockey. So that is the fourth line. On to defense, we have Nick Leddy and Colton Parayko. Then we have Torey Krug and Justin Folk, Marcus Scandella, and Tyler Tucker. In net tonight, it is Jordan Binghamton. And for those that are like, okay, Haley, what else is different about this line? Tyler Tucker, as I said, is in, and he is in place of Scotty P. I know. But as I was saying, I'm not surprised because he hasn't been playing as well. I'm not surprised. I'm really not. I think that this makes sense. So those are the lines for tonight. Honestly, I think that this is very beneficial, and this will help the Blues in a lot of ways. Perunovic, I like him. I just think that he's had a little bit of off of the season. Younger guy still can bounce back, but clearly Berube is like, let's go put in Tyler Tucker, young player as well, a lot of potential, and it makes sense that he is now in the lineup. I just think overall this was a smart move made by the Chief, and this is what's going to get the Blues success. I guess the number one thing I can say for my pregame show and my predictions is this. I think Kevin Hayes is going to flourish being a winger rather than center. I think that while Kevin Hayes does have leadership abilities on the ice, I think that he is much better playing wing. And I think that it was a little silly that media took this long to try him out in this position. But overall, it's still early on in the season. Okay, it's only the first quarter. So you still have so much hockey left, so much time left. So I like that Chief made that move. I think Jake Neighbors, and I've said this once and I will say it again, he is proving how valuable he is on that first line. I actually think that he plays a beautiful game of Thomas, and I like to see Neighbors more. I guess you can say more of a staple. And why shouldn't he be? NJ Dave checks in. He says, "Let's go Thunderbirds. Go Thunderbirds." Yep. Jake Neighbors, he is probably, and this is a player that I previewed even before the Blues took him, right? Before he was drafted here. And I just think that he is absolutely phenomenal and he is thriving. And I've said this before, but sometimes you have to give these younger guys a chance. You need to put them in those lines. Maybe it's a little risky. Okay, maybe going into the season, I would have never said that Neighbors was going to be a first line type of guy, but he is proving that he can be. He's holding his own, and I think that's super important. So just for that alone, I am so proud of Jake Neighbors, and I want nothing but success for him. And right now, he is proving he is the definition of hard work pays off. And I could not be more proud of him. And as a Blues fan, how could you not be? I mean, seeing a kid like him thrive is phenomenal. And yeah, NJJ points out Jake was good when he was here, and that's the thing. Neighbors is good wherever you put him. And he spent time, obviously, with the Thunderbirds, but that's a good thing. That means that he was developed properly. And I think the Blues have been developing players a lot better than some other teams around the league. I think that development, that's something that doesn't get talked about enough. You always want to talk about when they make it, into the big show, which is obviously playing for the Blues or NHL. But the AHL is a super competitive league, which is for development. But besides that, it's still a league. It's still a competitive hockey league. So I am not surprised in any way that Jake Neighbors was able to flourish and prove that, I deserve a chance playing for the St. Louis Blues now. But the St. Louis Blues organization, they do a good job, and kid's still very young. And I hate saying kid because he is playing on, our team, but he's still young and there's still a lot, of growing to do, obviously. But right now he's earning that spot. And I'm also happy for Sonny. I am excited for him to be on that third line. I think that is a huge compliment. It's funny. I think that this team just needs a couple of tweaking. It's not that they're untalented, and it's so frustrating. It's like there's something that just needs tweaking. And when they put those pieces together, because individually, there's so many good players that play for the St. Louis Blues. But when you put it together, sometimes it's been a little bit, messy. So it's trying to find that balance. And I think that's so important. Oh, yeah, Matt Kessel. Yeah. I'm going to do a whole episode, NJ Dave, and to anybody who's watching, about all of our guys at the Thunderbirds, because there's a couple that are standing out to me. So maybe that will be a tomorrow episode, which will be really fun for a little bit of a Are We Feeling Blue Friday? So something to look forward to. If my computer wants to load, sometimes I feel like my computer doesn't always want to load right away. And I'm like, okay, let's not do that today. What I will be doing, though, is talking to you about game time. I love going out, okay? I love going to games. I love going to concerts. I love going to shows. Like anything that I can do to be entertained, I will go to. And what I love most about Game Time is that I can get last minute tickets. I can get flash deal zones, zone deals, and it's the easiest way to find tickets for any kind of event. And I can also see where I'm sitting from the app. So if I go to the seat that I want, before I even buy my ticket, I can see if I'm going to be able to see the stage or if I'm going to be able to see, the court or the ice. I can see all of that before I even purchase my ticket. Okay? And Game Time is obsessed with helping you save money on tickets because they have deals right up to the start of events. That is right. Even like a couple minutes before the event, there's tickets, which is like a lifesaver because sometimes I'll be in the parking lot. I'm sure you are too. And it's like, okay, where's the cheaper tickets? Okay, Game Time has your back on that one. I know they do for me. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. Yeah, so let's do this. Have fun putting up Christmas lights, Dave. So as Dave is putting up his Christmas lights, and again, you can always rewatch these lives. They're always going to be on the YouTube channel. Let's go talk about the Blues' keys to success. So this is something that I think is super important for the St. Louis Blues tonight, is different keys to success to beat these Buffalo Sabres. Okay, here we go. I think the Sabres are a little bit better than they think. Last year, the Blues went 0-2 against Buffalo. But I think, and this is just me thinking out loud here, I think the thing about Buffalo that scares me is that they do have a little bit of a stronger defense. Tonight, what I would say to the Blues, you need to take as many shots on net and make them good shots. What do I mean by that? I mean, you need to actually shoot with consistency and accuracy and not just shoot stupidly. That is important. 2, this will be Torey Krug's 200th game as a Blue. Okay? Say what you want about him, that's still a big deal. So I think for him tonight, proving to the fans, being an enterprise and wearing that blue note, he has to feel some type of spark. So I think tonight, and I'm giving a prediction, I think I'll see a Torey Krug goal tonight. I really do. Yeah. Do I think that this team is good? I mean, it's not that the Sabres aren't good. I think that, they don't have Tage Thompson, which is a huge thing. And over the last 5 games, the Sabres have been 3-1-1. So I do think that they've been in the midst of this winning, especially defeating the Rangers after a 5-1 win, which is huge considering that I think the Rangers are probably going to win the Cup this year. Well, not I said the Stars, but then I'm like, maybe not. Who knows? It's early days. I think with Buffalo, they are 10-10-2, 22 points. The Blues have 23 points. This team, unlike the Wild, this team matches more up with the Blues. They're still inconsistent. They're still having problems finding their momentum. The Sabres are still kind of just somehow passing by. You don't see them as a threat, but yet they're somehow able to win games. I think tonight will be a challenge. I don't know. But it's not like they're forward. It's not like when the Sabres have puck possession, I'm like, oh, this is so scary. I don't think that they're so great at their puck possession. But I think this is going to be a very evenly matched contest tonight. And I am not surprised whatsoever about whatever outcome. I'm having a hard time here. right now, because I don't want to come on here and say that Buffalo is the better team because they came off of that win, but that was a really good win. They really outplayed the Rangers. And I think that if it was any other team in the NHL, I mean, besides like the Golden Knights or the Bruins or I'm not gonna even say our teams like the Wild. No, not the Wild. The Avalanche and the Stars. If it was any other team besides those teams I named, I wouldn't be concerned. But because it's the Rangers, that's what concerns me. And coming off of a momentum like that, I'm like, okay, that's cool. I'm nervous, but I know that the Blues, they have a pattern, which I'm going to talk about. But I still think that the Blues are going to win tonight. So I am saying this. Give me high scoring 5-4 St. Louis. 5-4. High scoring game. I know. Haley, why are you predicting such a high scoring game? Because it's the St. Louis Blues. Is anything ever low scoring when they're winning? Not when they lose, but when they win. High scoring. So that is what I think for tonight. I'm not like the biggest fan of it, but hey, it is what it is. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only. Available to U.S. customers. The Blues need to stop this pattern. What exactly is the pattern? Well, it's the pattern where the St. Louis Blues, they win, they lose, they win, they lose. And it's like, okay, what's going on? I want the Blues to play more consistent hockey. I feel like even it doesn't matter if they have back-to-back games or if they have a couple days between games, this pattern still happens. I don't know why exactly. And I don't think I'm going to ever know the answer as to why this happens. But I can tell you this, it is frustrating. I think the St. Louis Blues are one of the most inconsistent teams this season. I don't think they're a bad team. I don't think they're a good team. I think that they are an average team. That is also something I discussed here in Locked On Blues in the beginning of the week about how they're just an average team. And can you blame me for feeling that way? The St. Louis Blues, they do have a lot of potential, but at the same time, they're unable to maintain a momentum. That was a tongue twister. And with being inconsistent with their momentum, it is showing on the ice. I want you right now to think, when was the last time the Blues were consistent so far this season? If you cannot think of a single time they were consistent this season, it's because they weren't. They're not consistent. Even when they were on that little bit of like a couple game winning streak, they still weren't consistent. Like they still played very good hockey to very mediocre hockey. And it just is the most inconsistent thing I've ever seen. And I think that there is something to say to that. I think that these guys, for whatever reason, when they're down and they lose, they come into that next game and they have a will to win. And then when they win, I think they get a little bit too, oh, we just won. Like life is good. And then they don't play as hard. And that's what I've noticed. So am I saying that they're lazy? No, not at all. What I'm saying is the complete opposite, is that they feel so confident that maybe in the back of their heads, now I'm just taking a guess here, is that they don't feel like they need to play from behind. This is a team that has always been an underdog team. The St. Louis Blues have never been a team that people look at and say, yeah, this team is a team to be scared of. It's always, oh, it's just the Blues. Well, no, it's not just the Blues. There's so much talent on this team. And I feel like, I don't know, they maybe get in their heads. It's hard to tell. As a fan, it is frustrating. It's not surprising. And I hate that. I hate that I have to say, oh, yeah, well, it's not surprising that they get in their heads. Well, it should be a little bit, just because they've been playing so much better that I'm like, why do you need to get in your heads? But whatever. Again, can't help on that one. All right. Well, I will talk to you like always tomorrow. This will be a good game tonight, which I'm excited about. So, as always, let's go Blues. Bye, guys.